This is The Brigand Children, Book 2 of the Club Lavender Duet by Lainey Delaroque. Part 5, Chapters 21 to 25. For previous chapters or to start from the beginning, navigate to the playlist titled The Brigand Children on this channel, or by clicking the card on the right. Don't forget to adjust the speed of this video to match your comfortable listening preference. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel to help me produce more free audiobook stories for you. Happy listening.
Chapter 21. Kiara and Tanya sit back on the bed, defeated by the prolonged quietness. It's no longer a pause, but it can't be the end of the conversation either. Yera's well-being must be considered no matter what.
Is the bug only a microphone, or does it track where you are as well?
Ayesha asks. That question unleashes a myriad of bad ideas from everyone, and ends in a mutual silence again, after Carl tells us all how impractical it would be to fake someone's death. Kiara raises her hand like an insecure student in a class full of loud children. Carl invites her to talk with his open palm. Without intention, he has acquired the parent role in this conversation. Being the oldest of us all, it's no surprise. What does he see in my father to respect him so much? Carl looks like a person with set morals and a strong sense of justice.
Why do we have to destroy the bug so obviously? We can instead put on a show of it going fuzzy and then failing. Things like that must happen all the time,
Kiara says. Tanya and I share a look, and I see the detectives exchange one too. Why didn't we think of that? I know people who can help us. My voice carries a note of positivity.
Great.
Kiara braves a smile.
It can work,
Carl says.
Only time will tell whether the jesters will buy it or not.
My phone vibrates in my pocket. Excuse me, I say, and walk away and down the stairs, out of the group's earshot.
It's Luan,
I hear when I pick up. I brace myself for another bout of bad news. What is it?
We lost our last dealer. He was stabbed yesterday.
Listen, I'm doing my best here. We're on to Penelope. We just got Kiara back.
We saw.
Luan sounds unimpressed. Can you or Diana help with disabling a bug gradually, like it took its time and broke down on its own? The line goes quiet for a second that stretches into 5, then 10.
Diana speaking. I can do it. Make sure you get a few recordings of Kiara. Send them to me and put the bug in a separate room. I'll put on a show. Then mail me the bug after 3 days or so, and I'll destroy it. Use the envelope I sent you the glasses in. It's got lining that makes it untraceable.
Thank you. I'll figure out what to do with the funds issue after.
Please make haste. Our savings won't last long.
I will. Stay safe, Diana, and all of you. Don't try to be heroes. She hangs up. I flick my eyes to the second floor, a soft light pouring out from the open door. Animated voices are carried in the air like the sound of buzzing flies. I go back. The mood of the room has shifted. The positivity from before is gone, replaced by a strained atmosphere, like an argument brewing in the air.
I still think we can push it further.
Tanya is suddenly up and pacing around the bed.
We can still set a trap before the bug goes. Kiara, you think there is a way to lure out this new guy?
Ayesha speaks before Kiara has a chance to reply.
You think she would try to save him from us? She doesn't sound like she would care that much, if he's only one of a string of lovers.
She will care that we have taken her toy away.
Tanya's face is triumphant.
How can we make sure it's Alan we lure out and not any of the other guys? Or do we assume anyone would do, as long as they're part of the jesters?
Carl scratches his chin. If Alan is indeed my father's guy, it shouldn't be too hard to get him to fall into our trap. He only needs to play along and wait to be rescued by Penelope. And seeing as how she's ready to divorce me for him, I know she will come. She might be a narcissistic bitch, but once she knows she wants something, she won't let anyone take it away. If she's crazy about him, she might even come with him in the first instance and save us a lot of trouble. But if Alan is someone else, well, the narrative changes. We will find another way, I say more confidently than I feel. We need to secure my father's plant for any trap to really work. Carl narrows his eyes, and I know I will be pulled away for a conversation after. But I don't want Kiara or Tanya or Aisha to know about the specifics around my father's involvement in the case, so I offer nothing more. Tanya shoots me a look of displeasure, but doesn't question my decision.
Fine, whatever.
She is not happy with me. I need to catch her alone soon and talk to her. I have to make sure she doesn't nurture some brave but stupid idea in her mind. Kiara, I just spoke to the person who can help us with the bug. Can you record yourself saying some everyday phrases? Maybe a bit of coughing and other random noises? Then you're free to go with the detectives. Leave the jeans with us and we'll take care of the bug. I offer her the most genuine smile I can muster.
Yera will be safe.
Tanya reassures her.
But are you going to be safe?
Kiara puts a small hand on Tanya's pale skin. I press my lips into a thin line, knowing the answer.
I will be okay.
Tanya says in a voice which I know is part of her brave persona. As Kiara shuffles out of bed, her legs still wobbly, and they all start packing, Carl taps my shoulder.
A word,
He says, and I'm sure it's going to be more than that. I follow him into the black corridor, hating its oppressive feel. I need to repaint the whole place if it is ever going to make a comeback.
Is this Alan your father's person? He sounds like he was too gentle to Miss LeBeau.
Carl whispers when we are out of earshot. I don't know. He wouldn't tell me anything. I hiss, the bitterness in my voice unexpected. I clear my throat and continue in a calmer manner. Maybe you should get in touch with him. He will probably tell you sooner than he tells me. Carl shakes his head.
There are too many eyes on us. Even coming here was too difficult without alerting any of the patrolling cars.
Is Kiara really safe with you?
Safer than she will be anywhere else.
He replies. The lack of delay makes me trust him. He believes it, I realize.
Put on a good show and let's wrap this up without casualties. I'm really looking forward to a peaceful retirement in Miami where I will solve Sudoku puzzles and yell at my grandchildren to get off their phones.
Do you know anything about Brad, who got caught in the Lavender raid a few weeks ago? I ask.
Not much. It's another department, but I did try to get him to reveal Penelope's hideout location. He's yet to crack, using his Fifth Amendment right to the fullest.
Surprising, Brad never struck me as a loyal type. Or maybe he's hoping Penelope will help him somehow. In any case, he's no danger to us now, and he's no help either.
The Jester Queen.
So now you love him? He joined us less than 2 weeks ago.
Penelope Wilson Grey doesn't appreciate Curtis Jericho's tone. She only wants him to do his job. The fact that he can't do it without whining like a little bitch annoys her beyond belief. Remember who your queen is, she hisses, spit flying from between her teeth.
My queen? Do you hear yourself? We're in the middle of Chicago, in the 21st century. Queen!
Curtis throws his hands in the air like there's an invisible audience watching his performance. His curls, deflated and thin, so unlike Alan's, follow every move of his head. Penelope's temples throb with rising anger. She can't deny its tide, so she does what she hasn't done in years. She folds her fingers into a shy fist and swings her arm forward, aiming at Curtis's jaw. He sidesteps her assault, his expression still one of frustrated fury. He meets her gaze, and he instantly knows evading her hit was a mistake. She's now not only furious, she's embarrassed, too. And Penelope Wilson Grey doesn't do embarrassed. She straightens, closes her eyes, and takes a deep breath. Alan! Her voice is loud, but she is not shouting. It's the demanding tone of a determined leader.
I didn't mean it.
Curtis says, his arms out front, doing his best to placate her. But she doesn't want his best.
You used to like me too, remember? We did so many things on that very bed. Let me come back to you.
Alan Shane is at the door, already bowing, already smiling, already lighting up the room with an emotion Penelope now craves every day. Curtis's pleas disgust her. How she had let him touch her is a mystery she doesn't dwell on.
Please, he can call you whatever you like. You are a queen.
Curtis continues rambling. Alan, take Mr. Jericho outside. He's argued that he doesn't need his ring finger anymore.
No, you're a queen. My queen. I will do it. I will bring the divorce papers to Damien Grey.
Beads of sweat glisten on Curtis's forehead. Alan is small compared to him, but Penelope knows the strength of Alan's muscles goes far beyond what can be seen with the naked eye. She glides her eyes across his body, thinking of all the nights he spent making her feel like a real queen, worshipping her body, never asking for anything in return, never claiming her like a piece of meat, just unraveling her like a rose.
Which ring finger?
Alan's melodic timbre pulls her away from her blossoming fantasy. Doesn't matter. Left. No. Right.
Please, my queen. I need my fingers. I play the guitar.
Tears now streak Curtis's face.
It's only a hobby.
Alan says helpfully. There's a glint of ruthlessness in his voice, and it pleases her. She had been worried asking him to carve Chiara Labov's arm had gone too far, but seeing him today quiets her suspicions. He didn't enjoy what he did to the girl, but he did it anyway, for Penelope's sake. She was touched, then scared he might reject her. Now she is proud of her choice in consort. Just take both, she says finally, a wicked grin painting her lips.
No, no, no.
Curtis chants, but Alan is already rounding him up, already pulling him out of the room.
What shall I do with them after, my queen?
Alan's voice is a bit strained with the effort. Penelope decides he shouldn't have to break a sweat on Curtis's account, so she snaps her fingers, and 2 goons come to help him. Throw them in the garbage disposal, she replies. And come back right after. I need your presence tonight.
I will be quick.
He winks on his way out. Penelope Wilson Grey does another thing she's not done in years. She swoons.
Chapter 22. The plan for the bug in Chiara's discarded jeans is on, so after I sent everyone on their way, I now pace around the club, do laundry, exercise. I consider picking up the pen again, but I'm too restless. I know the words won't flow. I practice my rope knots for a while on the bed frame, and it calms me. After my 3rd yawn in a row, I take a quick shower and head to bed. I lie in it, alone, missing Sophie as I fall asleep. Then it is as if I've died. When I wake up hours later, my watch tells me it's morning. I long to be woken up by sunshine, but the windowless room is as dark as it was last night. My phone vibrates near my head, Matthias's name on the screen crashing my pity party.
We still good for today?
His voice is light, reflecting a good mood behind his syllables. It's undoubtedly been made better by his frequent exposure to vitamin D. I look down at my pale thighs, still a phantom. Yes, if you've got a way to sneak me out. It's moving day. It had slipped my memory, but I don't let it show.
I've got the perfect disguise for you,
he says with an audible smirk.
Check the fire door when you get up.
I'm already up. I stretch in my bed, my muscles singing with the delicious feeling of being awoken.
Sure you are.
Matthias chuckles.
By the way, you should ease on the worrying. I think you might get some good news if everything goes well on the Chiara front.
What good news? It has to be colossally great if I'm to stop worrying.
It's a secret.
We finish off the call with some practical decisions. A small shivering has started in my spine. Whether it's excitement or the cold creeping into my naked body from the unheated room, I can't tell. But I have a busy day ahead, and for once I might see the blue sky. I wash my face, diligently taking Chiara's jeans with me to the shower. I play a couple of recordings as instructed by Luna. I will lock the bug in a room after, and Luna will control a laptop to emulate the ferocious browsing of someone deprived of internet entertainment. I phoned them earlier, expecting Luan to pick up, but it was Lulu. She was elated to oblige, already listing the dozens of Netflix shows she was going to show the pair of jeans. The joys of being young. Some of that joy finally manages to seep through to ease my worried mind. I'm at last going out of here during the day, and it's not because something terrible has happened. The thought of the spring sun on my body, even if it's fully concealed, fills me with giddy anticipation. Thomas will be there too, and while my stomach feels like it's full of crawling centipedes when I think about starting a conversation with him, my heart flutters with love and pride. Matthias's choice of disguise is dubious but unsurprising. Cotton sweater the color of mustard, gray washed-out jeans, and something he called a khaki bomber. The overall look is normal, like I'm someone who goes to work during the week and takes their family out to the park on the weekend. I look like I have a dog in a backyard. I put on a brown beanie and a pair of massive reflective sunglasses. My beard conceals most of my face anyway, so when I wrap a gray scarf around my neck loosely, I see a hipster in Starbucks, one with a name that always gets written wrong and an unapologetic obsession with coffee syrups. I don't recognize myself, and I damn hope that no one else will do either. I check the security camera over Lavender's fire door. The parking lot and the street are empty, so I sneak out and lock up behind me. I inhale deep, tasting the day Chicago air. Flowering cherries, exhaust fumes, and newly laid asphalt. I have missed this smell. Matthias's silver Prius is waiting for me. I get in, trying to remember the last time I had been in someone's car. The time when I rushed after Brad from the hospital comes close, but taxis don't really count, do they? The car smells like pine air freshener. It's clean, like everything else in Matthias's life. Well, Lavender and I are there too, so one can say we're the only mess tainting his orderly existence. He smiles when I plop on the seat next to him.
I knew pale khaki would bring out those gray eyes of yours. I must admit the beard is a win too with this outfit. I should become a stylist.
Maybe, but you're stuck with us for now. I say it as a joke, but it doesn't come off that way.
Yeah.
He dismisses me without looking at me. The car revs to life, and we're off. I wrap my scarf closer to my face and peer through the window. Chicago swishes past me. There are so many people, women in suits hurrying somewhere, groups of children mesmerized by phones, elderly men with massive shopping bags. The demographics I have forgotten existed unravel before me with their normalcy, and for a moment I find myself overwhelmed by a fantasy of being anyone else but me. Matthias's words pull me back to the present.
Hannah's at work, Sophie is running some personal errands, and Mel and Thomas are at school, so it will be you and me against the boxes in my house.
A pang of disappointment makes me sigh. I might not see Thomas. I know Sophie has a scheduled visit with my father today. It seems she's decided to keep that information between us, so I don't raise it with Matthias. Maybe I can see Thomas when he returns from school.
Possibly. He and Mel might go take photos after school. They found an abandoned puppy. They've been pestering Hannah to keep it, but she said no.
So they just left it there?
They plan to take it to a kennel today. Mel knows some of the volunteers there, so they would let her take it out and do a little dog photo shoot. She says the chances of him finding an owner are better that way. Social media exposure and all that.
The conversation dies after this as I get lost in another fantasy. A family of 3, Thomas, me, and a puppy. No one threatening us. Why wouldn't Hannah take the dog?
No one at home to look after it.
You would be there.
I'm a cat person.
Matthias chuckles.
Why, you interested?
I may well be. It's pretty damn lonely in Lavender.
Melanie will love you for it, Thomas too. But do you need more responsibility at this point?
Matthias is, as always, the voice of reason. His delivery too is warm and caring, despite inflicting a blow to my budding dream. A dog. It isn't the worst idea I've had this week. I can't walk it, but the tropical room will be all his. Maybe after Penelope is out of the picture, a furry friend can enter our lives. But then I will be able to walk it, because I will be free. I will clear my name, and I will get a free pass to today's Chicago. As my mind runs circles around the idea, we arrive at Matthias's house. Inside, the rooms look huge, bare from the usual clutter of Matthias's metalworking hobby. Though clutter is an unfair thing to call the numerous containers and shelves he uses to keep track of his work. Everything in Matthias's life is orderly, but now that most of it is in cardboard boxes, it's even more true. He doesn't pause like I do, only takes a box with a grunt and carries it to the Prius. I take one too. It's labeled tumblers, and I wonder why the hell it's so heavy. How many tumblers does a person need? After both boxes are in, I realize we will have to do more than one run and let out an indulgent sigh. It's comforting to worry and complain about mundane things. There isn't a gangster in sight, and all blood is safely contained within our bodies. For a moment, I forget how dire a situation we're in. We stuff more boxes in, then Matthias leaves me at his house, as he does the first drop-off at Hannah's apartment. I use the time to call Detective Carl Mickelson.
She is safe.
It is Aisha Montgomery who picks up the phone. The sounds of a road beyond a car fill the silence that follows her words. I haven't even asked yet, I mutter. Where is your partner?
Driving. Aren't you calling to ask about Kiara?
I am, I say dumbly.
She is safe. You will never see her again.
Aisha sounds proud.
Tell him the good news.
Carl's booming voice replaces the racket of speeding cars. Have you found Yera and Penelope? My heart does a somersault at the prospect, then settles down. It can't be that easy, can it?
No.
Aisha says as if to reassure me things can never be randomly great.
You can go out.
Carl shouts. What?
The prosecution withdrew your arrest warrant after Kiara's statement. We came clean about working with you.
When Aisha says this, there is leftover resentment in her voice, as if it's not good news to her at all. I'm free? The question is stupid, but I can't understand what this means for me.
You're not wanted as a suspect anymore in the particular cases of Club Lavender and the missing girls.
Carl's voice is now clear and very, very close. Aisha must be holding the phone to his face. The image amuses me, but I don't let it show.
You are still expected to show up as a witness. In fact, do it sooner rather than later. To prevent any further suspicion should Penelope start actively trying to frame you for her crimes again. You know, like the murder of Layla Almasi.
He means I should make sure no other bodies turn up looking like someone from the deck was starting up a streak. Easier said than done. I remember Penelope's threat and admit to myself I have no choice but to sign those divorce papers. It's infuriating I won't be able to trap her with my legal presence, but petty revenge is meaningless when someone's life is on the line. I understand, I say to the detectives and hang up. My bout of bad mood clears quickly, and I call Matthias while I pace around to appease my excitement.
What?
His voice is more abrupt than usual. I hear him grunt with effort. He must be unloading boxes at Hannah's. Come back as soon as you're done. We have somewhere to go. I'm surprised at how jolly I sound.
You got the good news, didn't you? Congratulations, my friend. You're a step closer to finally being free.
Yes, it doesn't feel real, but still calls for a celebration, a gesture, something.
Okay, though I need to finish moving.
And I will help you with that, Matthias, but before that, we need to pick someone up. I'm now pacing quicker, my free hand gesturing as if there is a live audience listening to my announcement.
Who?
That poor puppy, I proclaim, is going to have a new home.
Sophie the Brigand Wraith. Similar to the first time I met a lawyer, my first visit to a prison fills me with dread and a strange feeling of guilt. When I look at the Brigand Wraith within me, I know there are plenty of reasons why I should be behind bars. As I walk forward and pass the safety checks, I think about the countless items I have stolen and the many times I have run under the soundtrack of police sirens and the shouting of security firm operatives. I sit down, an eerie emotion settling in my gut. Despite recounting my crimes, I don't feel I belong in jail. I muse at how flexible the human mind is when it considers its own transgressions as Mateo Grey, the former deck leader, comes in.
Now that's a face I didn't expect to see. You've grown up.
Mateo Grey looks a lot like his son. Mateo's eyes are lined with age, and his nose is swollen from years lived. His hair is thinning. Little dark is left in it, but the form of it is remarkably similar to that of Damien's. There is a swirl at the top of both their heads, like a scoop of butter from an ad. A fading bruise marks one of his cheeks. I hadn't expected Chief's friend to get caught, so this meeting is a surprise to me, too. I fiddle with the ends of my hair, unsure how to start. But even with my internal turmoil, the conversation is already underway. The former leader of the deck smiles warmly.
How's the little one?
Not so little anymore, I say.
She's about the age of my grandson.
He adds with a sigh.
Do you know I have a grandson?
Thomas, yes. My voice is but a whisper, but he can read the name on my lips. His eyes widen.
How?
I use this small question to tell him the long story of Lavender, Valerie, and Penelope. I omit little, only my budding feelings toward his son and the humiliation of the jester's party. I don't leave out the event altogether, though, making it clear that his daughter-in-law and her underlings kept a gun trained to his grandson's head. Mateo Grey listens, first nodding along, then gradually getting stiller, his eyes sharpening with the blade of anger. By the end of the story, a curly, worm-like vein bulges on one side of his forehead. I came here, ready to fight for this reaction, to wrench compassion out of him, maybe shout, maybe cry, to do whatever I need to reach his heart. But it seems there was no need for all this prep. He had no idea of the span of Penelope's atrocities. I trusted the deck leader before, by proxy of Chief's judgment. Then I thought he had chosen to abandon his promise to the LA brigands and keep the building to himself. But realizing that he wanted to give it to me but couldn't, changes things. I trust him again.
So that's what my son was alluding to.
He squeezes each word through gritted teeth.
She has gone insane, this woman. A mother's only purpose is to care for her child. To put herself first is already unforgivable, but to threaten him? To use him?
I prickle at his words, but the brigand wraith within me doesn't give those feelings a voice. It's useless pointing out that our view on motherhood is starkly different. Only one of the reasons we're trying to fight against her. My words are measured.
So you've come here instead of that pushover doctor to beg for the name of my informant, right? You can't really proceed without his insight.
Mateo Grey nods his head like everything is clear now. I don't beg. I say to clear the most important bit first. Do I need to remind you that every second you choose to play with us and withhold information is a second more that a woman has to endure torture at the hands of a monster you helped create?
I didn't create the jesters.
Maybe not intentionally, but Penelope is using your assets and some of your people. If you had seen through her manipulation all those years ago, none of this would have happened. I feel bad that I'm using his wound to hurt him further, but I didn't come here to be amused by whatever alpha male crap he's trying to spew.
My son has been whispering in your ear.
Mateo narrows his eyes. I change tactics. Fine. Let's put this current issue to one side. I have come to talk about something else. A personal issue. He has the decency to look puzzled. His right hand travels to his chin, and he pinches it between his thumb and forefinger, thinking. I lean back in my chair, letting the thoughts in his head stew.
Ah, the building.
He whispers.
You're here because Penelope didn't give it to you, did she?
Does that surprise you? My voice comes out with more venom than expected.
Well, I foolishly gave her power of attorney as I went to prison. There was a clear instruction to honor all promises I had made. She chose to ignore it, I see.
Mateo Grey's gaze shifts to one side like a memory is playing through his mind. You didn't entrust it to your son? I keep my voice level, free of the judgment that is swirling inside me. How can anyone be so blind? Father and son, both fooled by beauty and love. It can happen to anyone, of course, I tell myself as I wait for his reply. But did it have to be the leader of what used to be the biggest gang in Chicago and his successor? And why can't Mateo see that his son is worthy of both inheriting the deck and unconditional parental love?
I was convinced Damien was not fit to lead.
Mateo scratches his chin.
I'm still not. He's too mild for the job.
I mutter because this is another thing we will disagree on. Chief was always gentle toward his people, always putting us first, rewarding us when we did well. Maybe I have a skewed picture of him, but I know being a heartless bastard isn't the answer to great leadership, even in a career of crime. I don't want to start this conversation with Mateo, however. Nothing useful would come from wounding his pride and challenging the pillars of his beliefs.
Anyway, back to the topic of your building. The building is yours, as per my agreement with the LA brigands. I can revoke my power of attorney and give it to someone else. It won't be easy, but it's doable.
So give it to Damien. That will remove much of Penelope's power. I lean forward, my gaze intense. I can feel I'm close to getting one of the things I came for.
Only if she's been stupid enough to leave the assets in my name. I doubt she has.
My building is still in your name.
Probably because changing the owner to someone who is not you might prompt the brigand chief to come knocking. And she's not ready to deal with him. Her operation might be big in Chicago at the moment, but she's not been around long enough to create lasting connections with other leaders.
Connections. Maybe a trip to LA is in order. But how would I even find my previous people? I had shed the skin of the brigand wraith on the road from Los Angeles to Chicago, until a few weeks ago when I'd opened the chest of my memories and dusted her off. Give it to Damien anyway, I say finally. Or give it to me.
I find women mistrustful these days.
He shakes his head with a smile. I don't smile back because there's nothing funny about it. Not trusting half the population on Earth might prove unprofitable.
I'm jailed for life. Little profit can be gained when there's none going around anyway. Plus, Penelope was as nice as you in the beginning.
I roll my eyes. Give it to Damien, I say for the third time.
I will think about it.
Fine. Back to the topic of the informant. I take a photo from my pocket and place it on the glass, color side to Mateo. As per your agreement with Damien. He leans forward, surprise etched on his face. His features soften, and a smile changes his expression from that of a hardened inmate to a mellow grandfather. There's softness in his eyes, the same that I often see in Damien's, and I wonder how Mateo can be so unaware of their similarities. I'm showing him Thomas. He's petting a stray dog and is smiling like the world is perfect. I got the picture from Melanie, with Thomas's permission. It never made it to Melanie's Instagram feed because Thomas's face on the internet is asking for trouble. Behind their teenage joys, they have found themselves trapped in a world of caution.
I really want to hear his voice.
Mateo whispers. Damien has talked to him about you. It's not safe for him to come here. But do you know your prison now allows video messages and video calls?
Does it?
His eyes light up.
I can talk to him soon. I can see him.
We're doing our best to arrange it. I think it's important you both reconnect, regardless of whether you choose to help us or not. But let me put it this way. If you join us properly and stop obstructing Damien, Thomas will get to sit here sooner.
I know,
Mateo says, but then goes quiet. He looks like he wants to speak, but he doesn't. My patience wears thin. Damien organized the photo. He told me you're a man of your word, and that you would give us all you know if we got Thomas's face in front of you. I was instructed to use those specific words. Mateo presses his lips in a thin line, then nods. He looks around, checking the location of the guards. There is one in the far corner. Just tell me. I slide the picture down the glass, my head suddenly heavy on my shoulders.
the person who is currently undercover in the Jesters is one of yours.
Interesting. A brigand? What are they like?
It's a guy your age. You may well know him. I asked for you, actually. I wasn't convinced by this whole seduction idea. Stealing is easier than persuading someone to love you. Anyway, I thought you'd kept in touch. But the chief was adamant to keep you out of it, that he has a man with the right skill set for the job.
My eyes narrow as I run all the possibilities in my head. Who could it be? Someone charming, non-threatening? The brigand changeling? Surely not. Who is it? I ask.
Tony Maionetto,
He whispers.
but he's only been in touch once when he told me he had infiltrated the Jesters successfully. Our call cut off before he could tell me any locations or other insider information. There must be lots of people around him.
Tony. No. The Brigand Wraith remembers piece by piece the person who made her teenage years not only bearable, but fun. Colorful. Tony was a first crush, a first true friend, a first enemy. When I needed him most, he disappeared.
So you know him.
Mateo's voice brings me back to the present. We used to do jobs in LA sometimes. I'm surprised Tony's still working for the chief. I'm thinking aloud now, trying to contain the flood of images that swirl in front of my eyes. Long blonde curls and a devilish smile. Dimples and a tiny waist. Her. Him. Maybe Tony had gotten his wish. The chief had probably been a sponsor and a supporter. All while I was working my ass off at Frenzy Eats, alone. A feeling starts in the pit of my stomach. It's not exactly anger, but it's nothing pretty either. I wish the planted person was anyone but Tony. The moment I see him, I will want answers to questions I hoped to never have to ask. And how do I explain Tony to Damien? Thank you, I say finally, my mind no longer engaged with Mateo's words. I will leave this picture with the guards to pass on to you. It's yours.
Chapter 23. While we drive to the street where Melanie took the puppy photo, Matthias is fidgeting in his seat like it's on fire. What is it? I say after he doesn't volunteer anything.
I'm just uncomfortable. There are still screens around with your face on them. Although Detective Michelson gave you the all okay, would it have cascaded down to everyone? It's too soon for you to be out like this.
We slow at a light, and Matthias points to a wall, punctuating his point. My likeness stares at me. You're right, I say. But what's the worst that can happen? I can get arrested. I'm not going to resist if it comes to it. Then things will get sorted out. Matthias shakes his head, and I smile at him, trying to ease his nerves.
Since when do you trust the police?
He takes off as the light turns green, more aggressively than I expect, so my back is pressed to the seat before we even out. His driving has always been emotional. I trust Carl, I say.
Why?
Matthias doesn't turn to look at me. Because he trusts my father, and seems to have been working with him since the deck days. I can't deny him knowledge of this any longer. Bitterly, I add. The glorious deck days when those protected by him didn't disappear, and he ruled Chicago with a grip of steel.
Why didn't you tell me?
I didn't want to emphasize the fact that my father seemed to be renowned even with the police. After I made you go see him, I was sure highlighting his importance would only serve to reopen your wound. That is only part of the reason, of course. The other is that at my age, my father had already followed in his father's footsteps. He had already built strong connections and established himself as a prominent figure in the Chicago underworld. But for my 33 years of life, I have nothing nearly as amazing to show. I'm embarrassed to have dragged other people with me to a place of no significant achievement, no career renown. Especially Matthias, who had studied so hard to become a doctor.
Look there.
He makes a sharp turn, cutting our conversation short. There's a small heap of discarded clothes moving next to the wall. The car noise startles the heap, and it moves faster and faster until it unravels. A brown ball of fluff pops out of it, darting to the nearest dumpster for cover. Matthias parks close by. We're in a side street, the muffled sounds of traffic barely reaching our ears through the two behemoth buildings that tower on each side. The air is fresh, or it is until we get to the dumpster, when it changes to the usual smell of decaying Chicago. How do we get it out? I say dumbly, realizing that in my elation, I've come unprepared. There's no water on me, no snacks, no blankets, nothing. I unwrap my scarf and drop to my knees.
I'll call the kennel.
Matthias's phone is already pressed to his face. He walks away as he speaks, and I'm left alone with the puppy. I look under the dumpster, and it's there, shivering, looking at me with big, wet eyes. It whimpers a bit while I stare at it and retreats even farther into the darkness under. Its nose is the only thing I can see of it now, so I get back up and put my hands on my hips in a universal gesture of determined defeat. Like, I have no idea, but I'm still thinking about it. Matthias comes back, looking a lot more at ease. There are no posters on this particular street, no cameras, and best of all, no passers-by. I'm safe, and the puppy is the center of our amateur attention.
They said they're sending someone to pick it up.
But will I be able to keep it?
They have to check if it's someone's lost pet first, then check its age and health. If it's deemed adoptable, you are first on the list as the rescuer.
I nod, and we fall silent. I lean on the wall opposite the dumpster. Matthias puts his phone back in his pocket, and I just now notice that he wears a ring on every finger. Some are flat bands, some have black stones at top, some have a weaved pattern. His memento mori ring doesn't stand out between all the metal, but it's there. There's no more secrets left, I say after the quietness pricks at my comfort.
I doubt that.
He replies, but not with venom, like he's stating a fact.
You still haven't introduced Luna to me, or to Tanya.
It's not my decision to make, I say truthfully. Luna have many social barriers, and when they're ready, you will meet them all.
How many of them are there?
I'm not sure. I know 4. Or more specifically, 4 are willing to come out and help me.
That's 4 allies that are not properly attached to our inner group for support. And Tanya? You must check in with her. I'm afraid she'll do something stupid to try to save Yera.
She wouldn't. I cock my head to one side in a gesture of uncertainty. She has to look after the girls who are left. She will want to protect them first and foremost.
There are only 2 left, Damien, and she can be very convincing. If she decides to rally them on some dangerous crusade against Penelope, they will follow.
But nothing smart comes to my mind. I repeat, she wouldn't.
If I didn't know better, I would say you've lost your touch.
Matthias jabs. Before I can retort, he raises a hand and points at the dumpster. The puppy's head is showing underneath it. Its fluffy fur looks like caramel. Its eyes and nose are like sprinkled chocolate chips. Hello, little buddy. I drop to my knee and extend my hand toward it, palm down. It sniffs the air, then wriggles out of its hideout and braves a sniff of my knuckles. Just as I'm about to curl my fingers to scratch its chin, a car turns around the corner and scares him back under the dumpster.
It's the kennel person,
Matthias announces, and we both step back, letting the man in work overalls do his job. He is fast and gentle. In less than 5 minutes, the puppy is in a cage at the back of his car. The man hands me a card and collects some details. It's the first time in years I've given my personal phone number to someone who is not part of my inner circle. I can see Matthias fidgeting about it, but I don't acknowledge his anxiety. If I'm a free man, I should start living like one.
We'll do all initial checks and call you back tonight,
the kennel man says, and disappears with the puppy into the traffic. Matthias and I make our way back to his apartment to finish the move. After a couple of hours, all boxes are safely deposited on Hannah's floor. Her apartment is in an expensive area, slick and modern. I would have said clinical if it wasn't for the mess that 2 teenagers inevitably produce. Scattered chargers, notebooks, scribbled notes, mugs, and plates. That all Thomas and Melanie? I sweep my arm above the clutter.
Yeah, Hannah calls it creative chaos. We'll need to have words about it.
He shakes his head.
Melanie doesn't even live here, but they hang out so often, she's convinced Thomas it's okay not to take your plates through to the kitchen.
I smile, an apology already on my tongue. It's a nice feeling to worry about manners and not whether he's safe. Sorry, he's had too few chances to learn. I will do my best once we can live together again.
And I will teach him in your stead for now,
Matthias says with a bow. I chuckle. I hope he doesn't turn out as pedantic as you. He won't like living with me.
Look around, no chance of that.
He winks. I put my hands in the back pocket of my jeans, unsure whether I'm supposed to be doing something.
You can help me unpack?
Matthias raises his eyebrows like he can't believe my attitude. I burst out laughing.
What?
His face changes to a frown.
What did I say?
I keep laughing. After I catch my breath, I barely manage my response. This is all so normal.
That's a good thing, isn't it?
He draws the words out, unsure. I just hope it sticks. I kneel down next to him in a couple of sealed boxes. I open one labeled prototype and stare at the meticulously bubble-wrapped metal items. Where do you want these?
Oh, that one should have been opened last. Wait. I can show you something cool from inside.
He rummages in the box a bit, then takes out something bulky.
I made these for Sophie,
he says as he unwraps layers of thick bubble wrap. I look at 2 wide silver bands, very similar to the ones she often wore at Lavender back when she was undercover. They don't match her style anymore, I think, I say. But I hesitate after and narrow my eyes. They were definitely in the style she had created for Adrienne Raven, her persona. But that part of her should have disappeared in the ruins of Lavender. Or is Adrienne making a comeback?
Her style or not, look here.
He points to a barely visible ridge on the back of the band. I run my fingers through the smooth material only to find it uneven in a very calculated way. Are those?
Lockpicks, yeah.
Matthias is beaming.
She can take them anywhere without making those weird pouches for her underwear.
Huh, I always thought those were ingenious. I laugh. But this is on another level. Did you make something for me? I'm joking, but my heart flutters when he reaches inside again and pulls out a wooden box.
I was trying something out.
He starts.
But it's impractical, it won't work with your fighting style.
I open the box to find one shiny weapon, reminding me of brass knuckles and a cleaver at the same time. Where the rings should have tapered off to a point each, one single sharp blade glints in the expensive bulb spotlights. You turned an impact weapon into a bladed one? I pick it up and imagine hitting someone's face with it. It isn't a pleasant image.
Yeah, you would have to rethink all your moves, like more karate chops and fewer uppercuts.
He chuckles and scratches the back of his head. It's not his greatest invention. Utility items are definitely your strength. I put the knuckle blader back in its box, hoping it will stay there for a long, long time. Maybe revisit this one later. Sophie's bracelets, though. Absolute win.
Yeah, I'm finishing a headband to go with them.
She has curved lockpicks?
No, it's nice to gift jewelry sets.
He nods to himself and wraps the bracers back up. His words are not meant to sting, but they do. I've not given Sophie anything yet, but she already has a ring and a pending set from Matthias. And his gifts are useful and pretty. I can't think of anything useful or pretty to give her. As I go toward a box which clearly says unpack first, my phone vibrates in my pocket. I pull it out. It's a number I don't recognize. I hope it's my father and dread it might be Penelope again. I pick up with anxiety coiled in my guts.
Mr. Grey, this is Animal Tales Rescue. I'm calling about the puppy you found today.
A female voice at the other end of the line is dripping with the happy tones of customer service. I'm sure my face lights up because Matthias gives me a smile and a thumbs up. I smile back. Yes, did you find any owners?
No microchip, so we assume he's a stray. He's a healthy boy, around 4 months old. There are no notifications on our lost pets list that resemble him either. Would you like to keep him?
Yes, I say, my mind made up. Do you know what breed he is?
It's difficult to tell for certain, but he looks like he has some German Shepherd in him and some pit bull features. He's already warming up to the staff, so I'm sure he'll be a very loyal, energetic addition to your family.
He sounds perfect. I mean it. Back when my father had dogs, before Penelope got rid of them for being filthy, he had 2 trustworthy German Shepherds, Brass and Knuckles. Their existence had sparked my interest in the weapon I always carry with me now.
We will keep him for a few days because he is dehydrated and underfed, but after he gets back on his feet, we'll give you another call to collect him,
the kennel lady says.
And can you drop by tonight and fill out some forms in the meantime?
Yes, I will be there. I look at my watch. I would need to leave now if I was to make today's working hours. She confirms the address, and I hang up, content for a full 30 seconds. Then I remember I don't have my driving license anymore, and Matthias is waist-deep in cardboard boxes.
You got it?
He mumbles, a retractable blade knife in his mouth. He will be mine soon, but I need to get there. I run my hand through my hair. Embarrassed, I need to ask for a lift.
No can do,
he mumbles back, discerning my meaning instantly.
Get Sophie to drive you.
Right, I say, she's not here though.
Give her a call and help me unpack these spice racks,
he replies without looking at me. Spice racks? I dial Sophie's number as I speak. Spice racks, plural, Matthias? He gives me a long, hard look to make sure we've locked gazes. Then he rolls his eyes. Chapter 24.
Hello, handsome.
Sophie's voice breaks through the grunt of Matthias and me, moving items from room to room and wrestling long pieces of bubble wrap. I turn with a smile, which is quickly replaced by embarrassment after I see she has Melanie and Thomas in tow. The three of them are dressed casually, and for once I'm in sync with that style. "Hello," I say after a short hesitation. I give Sophie a hug, momentarily finding her orange and cocoa smell comforting against my newfound anxiety. She pats me on the back, gives me a squeeze, and releases me. She extends her arm and pulls Melanie to her.
"Melanie, Damien."
She points to each of us. It's the first time I've met Sophie's sister in person properly. I saved her in Lavender all those weeks ago, but she's only been the animated background of phone and video calls and the topic of conversation since. Now she stands in front of me, and I see the resemblance between the sisters. She has the same shaped eyes as Sophie, and the same deep brown color. But her hair is darker, and she is shorter. Not by much, however. Maybe in time she will grow taller than Sophie. "Nice to finally say hello in person," I say, unsure if my tone is correct. I'm awkward around teenagers, and it doesn't help that my son is soon to be one. She squeezes my hand firmly, and gives me a nod of what I hope is approval.
"Nice to meet you too. I can't wait to see the puppy."
I briefed Sophie on the phone, and it appears she wasn't the only one listening.
"I can't wait too,"
Thomas says after being Melanie's quiet shadow.
"Hey, Dad."
He gives me a bit of a wave, and I cringe at the lost opportunity of affection. Then I think, screw it, and go for a hug. I expect to find him stiff as a pillar in my arms, but he embraces me with matching enthusiasm. As we stay like that for a while, Sophie speaks again.
"I'll drive Damien to the kennel now. You two behave and help Matthias unpack. Or actually, it looks like he's unpacked everything but not put anything anywhere. Help Matthias clear a path through the clutter."
She chuckles. I release Thomas and pat his shoulders. He gives me a grin, which makes me feel like I'm looking in a time-traveling mirror. I can't wait to be able to live with him safely, like a proper family, and learn to relax in his presence.
"We're coming with you,"
Melanie declares.
"That's a no."
Sophie pushes her gently into the room. It really does look like the boxes have exploded. Matthias emerges from the mess and greets everyone. Thomas doesn't contest Sophie's order to stay, probably used to being told off for expressing his wishes by his Aunt Valerie.
"You promised we would do everything important together,"
Melanie says in a half-whisper. She is twirling a piece of hair around her fingers, not provocatively, but showing clear signs of irritation.
"I found that puppy. The kennel staff know me. We're not going to do anything dangerous. I can tag along."
Sophie shakes her head, and I take a step back toward the door. No reason to butt into that conversation.
"And you'll get to play and train the puppy eventually, when there's no crazy gang after us and the Grey family,"
Sophie says. Melanie considers this.
"But it's only a short drive away."
"Exactly. We won't even see him probably. Damien must do some paperwork. Does paperwork sound exciting to you?"
"No, but staying here in this natural disaster doesn't either."
Melanie sweeps her arm toward the center of the room.
"Hey, if we work together, we'll have this cleared by the time Hannah comes back home,"
Matthias adds.
"Actually, we really have to get it tidied up because we're going to have an annoyed, tired Hannah, and nobody wants that."
I've never seen Hanako in that state, so it amuses me when this seems to convince the kids and motivate them into picking up bits and pieces.
"Good. I'll be back for Melanie this evening."
Sophie claps her hands together, and we're out of the apartment before anyone can object. "Is your friend that scary when she's annoyed?" I ask while we walk to the car.
"She's not scary. She just has that quiet, negative emotion floating around her that makes everyone feel like they're 5 and have got their breakfast all over themselves."
She smiles and her eyes crinkle at the corners.
"She instills shame."
Sounds almost like a superpower.
"Oh, she has many."
Sophie and I get into the car.
"Patience, understanding, being a great friend, and instilling shame."
How did the prison visit go? My voice is nonchalant, but I need to know.
"Do you want to hear the good or the bad first?"
Sophie drives off into the hazy sunset. Her face is thoughtful in the yellow light. Has my father said something inappropriate? I'm happy there's a good news option, I say. Did he give you any valuable information from the informer? She sighs.
"No, but I know who it is. A friend from my time back in Los Angeles."
Oh. It sounds like it should make her happy, but her expression is unreadable. Do you trust them?
Yes. He was like family back then. If he's anything like he used to be, Penelope has her work cut out for her. But we need to wait a bit more. He couldn't say much last time he checked in with your father.
She says all this in one breath, as if she doesn't want to linger on the subject. You've not kept in touch with this friend? I push a bit more. Why does talking about him put her on edge?
We didn't get to say goodbye when I left, and he never looked for me. It's strange knowing he's in the same city as me, and yet I can't meet him.
If all goes well, there will be a reunion. I move my arm and put my hand on hers. She's gripping the wheel, her knuckles white. Her fingers relax under my touch, and she sighs.
It's unexpected, that's all.
She stays quiet, and I listen to the hum of the radio as we drive past buildings and groups of people. Sophie tells me about the conversation she had with my father about the power of attorney, and I only nod, accepting her words without offering much in return. She rallied on my behalf, but I know I'm not getting it. My father would rather give it to a stranger than me.
Animal tails,
Sophie announces as the car comes to halt. When I clamber out of the passenger side, I go to her and pull her into a hug. She nuzzles my chest, all warm softness. You did great today, I say into her hair. Thank you for seeing my father and for standing your ground against him. He's not an easy man to talk to.
I remembered him differently. Some of the things he says, about women, about you, about love and leadership, I don't agree with them. I don't understand how he was friends with my mentor.
Times were different back then. We step inside the kennel, quietly sharing memories of our formative years. Safe, happy memories. There will be another time for the darkness we each carry in our hearts. Before we get started on the paperwork, a member of the staff takes me around to see the puppy. It's as scared as it was under the dumpster. In a colorful blanket with tiny animals printed on it, it cowers, looking at us with wet eyes. When I take it, it will be my responsibility to take care of. Another life in my hands, another soul that will depend on my decisions.
Hello, buddy,
Sophie says next to me in a higher than usual voice. I imagine what my life would be with it in Lavender, how lively it will be, how it will fill my days with tasks. Walkies, food, baths, play. Then a darker image flashes through my mind. A dark club, full of rooms and empty of people. What if I go to face Penelope and I don't come back? What if no one comes back?
We're ready for you,
A staff member calls. And as I take one last look at the little one in the cage, I know what I have to do. Not that it's an easy thing. He needs a stable family, I say to no one in particular. I won't be able to provide that. The staff member nods with a warm smile.
You can come and visit him anytime until he's adopted.
I will try to, I reply. The image of the cold, empty Lavender surprisingly difficult to shake off. We say our goodbyes, and I apologize to Sophie outside that I dragged her here all excited.
I can imagine it's not unheard of, people finding animals and wanting to keep them. The reality is often different from the emotion-induced high when you save someone.
I nod, but her words echo in my brain. I catch her arm before she can climb into the car. Is that what I am to you? She looks at me with a confused expression.
You're projecting.
Am I? When the high-octane passion is gone, will you abandon me? I frown, not at her but at the torrent of words that tumbles from my mouth. Where is this coming from? I'm not thinking before speaking.
I don't plan to.
Sophie takes my shoulders and shakes me lightly.
Has something happened? I told you last time. I'm figuring myself out. You don't need to feel like a lost puppy.
I know this, of course. I clear my throat. I gather my courage because I'm about to say something scary. I needed to be reassured a bit. I really like you.
I thought we established that.
She leans in and nudges my nose with hers. Yes, but maybe I like you very exclusively. I struggle to find the right words. It feels like you've always been around me. You've slotted so easily in my life, it's terrifying.
Why?
Because my life is far from perfect. I have a son, I have a wife who is threatening to kill a person if I don't sign the divorce papers. I am supposed to be the leader of a gang. I've done things I'm not proud of. And you're too good for this. She shakes her head.
I don't agree. It's rare to find someone whose imperfect life fits so nicely in your imperfect life. I'm a former thief, Damien. I've done illegal things as well, though I'm kind of proud of them because they required so much skill.
She winks at me, and I exhale, my heart drumming in my chest.
There's a lot of baggage in your past, but trust me, I'm lugging my own too. You have no idea. I really like you. And if you're saying what I think you're saying, I will be happy to give us time to explore all that together exclusively. I haven't been with anyone since before Lavender.
I didn't mean you had to drop everyone else. I stutter because smooth sentences still escape me.
Do you want to be my exclusive rope top and my boyfriend Damien Grey?
She grabs my hands in hers. The determination in her voice saves me from finishing my previous pathetic sentence. Yes, I say solemnly. Then I kiss Sophie, my new girlfriend.
Things are crazy right now, and maybe they won't ever quieten down, but let's be next to each other for as long as we feel happy. After talking to your father, I realized I want to protect you. I want to defend you, prove him wrong, all the things that will make him see how amazing you are. I was going to tell you when we sat down in the car, but out here in the cold works too.
When she kisses me, I relax around her, her icy lips in stark contrast with her warm tongue. When we're together, I feel like I've just finished something, like everything is clean, in its rightful place and perfectly prepared for the next day. It's a feeling that's hard to describe, but serenity comes close.
I have so much to show you, Damien, and I want to learn everything about you, and about your son, and about your Lavender.
Her whisper moves between our lips, punctuated with lazy kisses. I feel like a blushing bride, I mutter, unable to stop smiling. I want to know everything about you too. You've been so mysterious. It's been hard to approach some parts of your past, like the time before you came to Chicago.
Yes, all in good time. You also have to tell me how come you know so much about Britain. I never fooled you with my impeccable British accent.
Her hands creep up my neck, and she pushes her body tightly against mine. A vibrating sensation spreads across my leg, and it takes me a second to understand it's got nothing to do with the effect Sophie has on me. It's my phone, and when we detach, I see Tanya's name on the screen. The bubble of tranquility bursts. I pick up, sudden dread twisting my intestines without mercy.
I'm sick of waiting.
Tanya breathes into the phone, skipping the greeting and any small talk.
I can't sit on the sidelines anymore, Damien. I'm taking things into my own hands.
The Jester Queen. Penelope Wilson Grey raises one perfectly plucked eyebrow, impatience building up inside her like an unwelcome sneeze. Jerry Jericho looks around the room with the apprehension of a man who is not made for the environment he has found himself in. Instead of putting his hands on the cheap wooden table, he sits on them like a child, protecting his fingers. He's probably scared that what happened to his son will happen to him. Oh, for God's sake, are you just going to sit there and waste my time? Penelope is in a chair in front of him, in a tight gray suit, looking like one of his secretaries but twice as deadly. She called him because his idiot of a child disappeared with her divorce papers. Alan is waiting outside. She's not ready to ask for his hand yet, so she keeps her divorce a secret, a present to delight him another time.
I don't know where Curtis is, I swear.
Jerry says in a voice so shaky his teeth are chattering. Bullshit. She uncrosses her legs and leans her forearms on the table. You are close. I know that much. Don't forget I used to sleep with him.
That's none of my business.
Jerry averts his eyes, and Penelope smiles at that. She is sure he wants her too. But everything about him is repulsive, so no way in hell that will ever happen. You misunderstand me, she coos. I know where your old decrepit mother lives. I know where her carers live. I know the names and faces of your cousin's children. I only need to lift a finger, and they all will start accumulating misfortune one by one. So tell me where Curtis is, and I won't have to hurt your whole extended family." To her satisfaction, Jerry goes white and stops shaking for a moment.
Are you going to kill him?
His weak tone suits his weak personality. How someone like that is a successful lawyer is beyond Penelope. "No, he has a task he needs to do for me first. A legal matter," Penelope says. Her words make Jerry's face relax. "But if something happens to him, I can always count on you to settle any outstanding legal matters, right?" She chuckles when his expression changes again. She enjoys playing with him like that. Power over people is intoxicating.
Maybe I can help now and you won't need him anymore?
He says this looking down at the table meekly, like a whining wet dog. "It's a matter of principle," Penelope says. Then her patience runs out, and she stretches forward and grabs Jericho by his round, soft chin. "Where is he? Why did he run?"
You will kill him.
Tears well in his eyes. Penelope releases him because, with the moisture beading on his face and his pudgy chin in her hand, she feels like she's holding a jelly cake. It revolts her. "Alan!" she calls without breaking eye contact with Jerry Jericho. When her lover walks in, Jerry's eyes dart between them, and he relents, catching the shift of atmosphere.
I will tell you, but promise me you will leave us alone after. He didn't want to do any of this. He was just in love with you.
He is crying now, tears flowing freely on his marshmallow cheeks.
He loved you. How could you cut off his fingers?
Penelope waves off his words. He was being intolerable. His location and purpose now.
He was scared and hurt, so he took off with Yara.
Penelope's anger rises like a tidal wave, then reaches a boiling point and spills over like lava from a volcano. He what?
She promised him that she could get him protection, that's why. He doesn't mean to hurt you. He simply wants out. As do I. Please.
He will die a painful death for daring to interfere with my plans like that. Penelope reins in her anger like it's an expensive steed that will be unleashed again at a more important moment. Her voice becomes cold and distant. Stop crying. Tell me where he is, and I will spare you and your family. Save me some time looking, and I will save your lives.
He's at the docks.
Jerry mumbles, a rivulet of snot going from his nose to his mouth. I'm assuming he's there to meet Damien Grey?
Yes.
She shakes her head. Damien will never go there. He will think it's a trap.
He didn't call him directly, he called a woman.
Interesting. Who? Tanya? Kiara? That new one? Adrienne? Penelope feels a strange sense of dread. She's not ready for a full-on conflict with her soon-to-be ex-husband and his merry little gang. She doesn't like gang-on-gang violence. She much prefers things to be unraveled and cut off one by one, without much risk to her person. Damien would never go there alone, but he would follow someone else because of his misguided sense of loyalty.
I don't know. He didn't tell me.
Jerry says through sobs. Penelope shakes her head like a disappointed manager and turns to Alan. Get 10 people and send them to the docks. They should return with Curtis and Yara at least. And if there's anyone else, they should grab them too. Whatever they do, they shouldn't leave any bodies behind. Am I clear? Penelope is not ready for the police to be breathing down her neck either. Curtis Jericho's impulsiveness is throwing her carefully laid plans. It is annoying, but also inevitable. With her looks and charm, there are bound to be unhappy lovers. Jealousy can make a fool out of anyone. Alan nods.
Should I lead them, my queen?
What? No, you stay here. Can't risk you getting hurt. She flashes him a seductive smile. You and I have more things to explore.
Yes, my queen.
Oh, and send someone to deal with this one here. She points to Jerry Jericho with her thumb like he's a pile of garbage someone forgot to take out.
But you promised you won't hurt me.
Jerry cries. You've outlived your usefulness. Penelope looks at her nails. The nail polish on her right index finger is chipped. It ruins the perfection of her hands.
Wait, I can tell you something else.
Jerry slams his hands on the table, knocking his chair as he rises. Penelope blows Alan an air kiss and waves him off before turning to look back at Jerry. The overwhelming feeling of disgust returns. Okay, make it fast.
Do you remember the deed that Mateo Grey told you to pass on to a female recipient years ago? For a residential building?
Vaguely. I left it with Valerie to sort out.
Well, I saw it not long ago. The recipient brought it to me to authenticate. I don't believe Valerie did anything about it, and the deed must have found its owner after Lavender was raided by the police. It was never submitted into evidence, though.
Classic Valerie. Too lazy to do anything right. So who is this person?
She's called Sophie Taylor. She seems to have known Mateo back in the day. She's maybe a contractor, maybe someone's daughter, young. In any case, she's sniffing around him. She's even been to visit him at Menard.
She sounds like trouble. Penelope doesn't like other alpha females around on her turf. Turning Mateo against his son and convincing him to transfer the power of attorney to her is the feat of manipulation she is most proud of. It is the highlight of her journey to becoming the Jester Queen, and she is not going to let this Sophie Taylor stand in her way. Even if she is only after that one building, Penelope can't let her have it. Now this sounds like a nice, safe job for Alan. He stole Penelope's heart. How much more difficult would it be to snatch Sophie Taylor?
Chapter 25. The phone line crackles with noises from outside. There's breathing and small grunts, the sounds of rushing. Where are you, Tanya? Calm down and talk to me. I have to get her to tell me everything because the feeling she's about to do something very, very dangerous wraps around me like a python. With every second of silence, it constricts me, making it harder to breathe, impossible to think. Sophie moves to the driver's seat while I go out and take the passenger seat next to her, the phone painfully pressed to my ear.
I'm going to get Yera,
Tanya says. I hear steps, her own maybe, but also more. We don't know where she is yet, I say. I'm waiting for my father to get me in touch with his informer.
Fuck that,
Tanya says. My blood stills. Swearing like that is not her style. She's usually more subtle in her anger, but now that I haven't seen her for a bit, I wonder if I have missed her moment of snapping.
I respect you, Damien, but you're too slow.
Where are you? I repeat. Sophie drives off and nudges my knee with her hand. I look up at her.
Put her on speaker,
She whispers. Sophie is here. I press the button. She can hear you. Please don't be rash and tell me what is happening right now.
Great. Maybe you two can come along and help us save Yera. We're almost there.
Tanya's voice is breathless from walking and talking at once. The wind in her receiver makes her words sputter ominously.
You know where Yera is?
Sophie shouts over the sound of traffic.
Yes, she's at the docks with that scorned lawyer, Curtis.
I bite my lip. This sounds like a trap, Tanya. Who gave you this information?
I spoke to him directly. I also spoke to Yera, so I know he's not lying. Penelope has made an enemy of him, too.
Tanya's words come loud and fast. What if Penelope wants to get you? Are the girls with you? Who's we? I'm not convinced by her explanation, so the questions tumble out of my mouth. There's something that doesn't add up here.
Maybe, but it's been too long. Layla is dead. Who knows if Kiara is safe in witness protection? Yera needs to come home to us. Then we have to obliterate Penelope and her gang of fools.
Behind her, a woman whoops. I pinch the bridge of my nose. This is too impulsive. They're going to get hurt. A little voice in my head chirps that it's all my fault, that my inaction and inability to communicate with my father are the reasons why Tanya's out on a quest now. A quest that will probably get her kidnapped or worse. You will get hurt. Tanya, back down, I plead into the phone. But I know her mind's made up. I can't order her around like Matthias. She is a different kind of soldier and requires a different approach. I should have seen it coming. Women in captivity is her trigger. I should have predicted it when I saw how thin she is, how worried. And yet I kept thinking about myself, about Sophie, helping Matthias move house while Tanya was losing the battle against her anxiety. Rescuing a dog while a woman's life is in danger. Don't be stupid, boy. My father's words echo in my brain, unwelcome, unwanted, unhelpful. His endless jabs at me ring true at this moment. I will never be a leader like him. I can fake it all I want, but the best I can achieve is not good enough. I was so happy to wait for my father's call, imagining that he was in charge once again, that I lost the plot. I'm supposed to be the one making decisions, taking action, putting my life on the line to make the lives of my friends better. But no, I failed.
You can't convince me to back down.
Tanya shouts.
So stop trying and tell me if you're coming to help or not.
I'm coming, I say, my voice as small as how I feel. I gather a bit more courage. I'm coming, but wait for me. Don't go in alone.
I'm not alone.
Tanya says, dropping her voice to a whisper.
I've got Bev and Lizzie with me. And I've got a gun and a few knives.
Sophie and I look at each other. Her face mirrors mine. A gun is never good news. Does Tanya even know how to use it? Where did she get it from? But all that is unimportant right now.
Don't engage this guy until we arrive,
Sophie says.
We're going to get Yara. Just stay outside and be a lookout. Text me your location and we'll be there. We're already in the car.
Good.
Tanya says, the relief in her voice palpable.
We'll wait for as long as we can.
Before I can object, she hangs up. I swear under my breath, then run a hand through my hair, exasperated. You shouldn't come, I tell Sophie, but she gives me such a look that I shut up instantly. One hell of a leader I am, but self-pity will get me nowhere, so I do my best to gather my wits. We need to get a team together, and fast. Who can help us?
Matthias and Hannah?
Sophie says hesitantly.
Probably won't be much use in a shootout, though. Neither will I.
As I said.
Everyone has different skills, and head-on fighting is not one of mine.
She interjects.
This does not mean I'm not coming with. If nothing else, I will be your driver.
What if there isn't enough space? I rub my forehead.
Then we call Matthias.
Sophie's phone chimes and she throws it at me.
Set the navigation going.
I fumble with the apps. Matthias has just gotten a second to breathe without panicking. Let's not call him.
Fine. What about the police?
No, I say, though I draw out the vowel, unsure. I trust Carl, but what about Aisha? Will they be discreet enough not to spook whatever is happening around Tanya right now? I'm back to being indecisive.
Yeah, we don't know if it's a trap. I guess we can't risk Yara's life like that. Penelope might be there too.
Sophie muses, but I disagree. This is all very strange. It's not her style, so it's either genuine or a trap conceived by the new guy, who I hope is on our side and will somehow tilt the scales in our favor.
In any case, we need to go. Do you have any weapons on you?
I shake my head. None. I remember the bladed monstrosity in Matthias's box and regret not taking it.
So how about this for a plan? We swing by Lavender, you get changed, and we grab what useful stuff we can find. Then we dash to the docks and we pray we won't catch the red traffic wave.
We stop at a red light while Sophie says this, and I realize it's rush hour. People are going home from work or going out to town. As we near the central spot where Lavender is, I dread the drive to the docks. There are too many lights and too little time. In a sudden bout of clarity, I take out my phone and call Luna.
Luan speaking.
I need Diana. Can you let her take over? I hope my voice conveys the urgency of the request.
Why?
I roll my eyes. Of course it had to be Kurt Luan who picked up. I need someone to ensure that Sophie and I drive through green lights all the way to the docks.
Brief me,
he says. I do it because I'm grasping at straws. When he's finally all caught up with Tanya's predicament, he speaks again.
Send me the location and await our call. If I can't get Diana, Tsuki might be able to help.
Thanks, I say, though his response introduces even more worry into my brain. The next 15 minutes pass in a blur. I feel like the Flash when we sneak back into Lavender and run around, ticking off the tasks Sophie had set. When we're back in the car, I'm as always in all black, my brass knuckles reassuringly heavy in the pockets of my coat, a knife in each of my combat boots, and a couple of Matthias's tranquilizer syringes in my sweatpants. I don't have a gun because I don't do guns, and the fact that Tanya has one terrifies me. It only takes one well-placed move for it to be taken away and used against her. I'm biting my lips when my phone buzzes in my pocket. I pick up, and Sophie passes a green light.
Diana here. Follow my instructions and I will get you to the docks in record time.
A sigh of relief escapes me. As we navigate through Chicago's busy traffic with the efficiency of a Swiss watch, the nerves in my guts create a tight knot, then another one on top, and another one. My father had working relationships with all the other local gangs, but with him in prison and me silent for 6 years, I doubt there's anyone I can call upon. Except maybe one person. I interrupt Diana's navigation to ask her a question. Do you think the Arcana is still on our side? She stops for a moment.
As far as I know, we haven't offended them. That isn't to say that your wife hasn't done so in your name. Take a sharp left.
The car turns abruptly, making my stomach lurch forward. With so many unknowns, I can't expose myself and mine to other gangs. But there is one person from the Arcana who knows everything that happened in Lavender in intimate detail. Can you find Ben, our previous barman? If you can contact him and say Tanya's in danger, he might come to her aid.
Barman Ben?
Sophie says. We whiz through a string of green lights. Our destination is near, so I have no time to explain. Diana's response is fast.
I can do my best. How can he help? As far as I know, he's not special in any way. Take the next right turn and it's all forward from there.
Roger,
Sophie says, and I use the distraction not to answer either question. Employing Ben was the condition I agreed to when the Arcana supported me in building Lavender and operating next to my father. After Ben disappeared, the night Sophie brought down Lavender, I assumed he'd gone back to his previous employer.
I'm looking for him now, but his name doesn't return anything,
Diana says. I realize the secret will hinder us more than help me remain in good standing with the Arcana, so it's time to drop a truth bomb. Try looking for the Hermit of the Arcana instead, I say. Sophie glances my way, but I gesture at the road and she turns back. I don't know how much she knows about Chicago's underworld, but if she sticks by my side, her initiation will be fast and thorough.
No way.
Diana's voice drowns in the clatter of keys.
Ben is the hermit? How did I not know?
Their own hacker did a good job, I suppose. Then my attention shifts to the docks, which now spread before us. We need to go. Do what you can. When we're outside in the darkness, the images of Layla's dead body appear in my mind like an unwelcome teaser of what I might see next. I hope Yera is in a better state, and I pray to gods I don't believe in that Tanya has listened to me. The quietness around us tells me that either the action hasn't begun, or worse, it has ended.
what was that Arcana talk?
Sophie whispers. Old allies, no time to get into it.
I won't forget,
She says.
Is that Tanya?
She points to a dark corner between two short buildings. A couple of women appear to be huddling there, Bev and Lizzie. When we get close, Bev comes forward. I recognize the faint outlines of her features, but I don't remember the other girl, Lizzie. Could she be new, or am I losing my mind?
Tanya is inside,
Bev whispers. Where? She points to a small side door on one of the buildings. Lizzie pops a bubblegum bubble, and I'm appalled at how at ease they both seem. Is she alone? I ask, but their faces betray it's a rhetorical question.
We are looking out. There's one guy with her and Yera.
Is Yera alive?
Sophie asks.
Yes, though she's been in a better state.
I look at the sky, a starless deep gray mass, and search for confidence I don't have. Do you remember Ben, our barman? I look back at them. I'm still hopeful Luna will be able to pull off a small miracle between themselves.
Of course, but he disappeared the night we were ushered out of Lavender. Tanya has been trying to reach him for ages. His phone is disconnected.
Bev replies. Yes, if you see him, make sure you let him in. They nod. I notice the glint of a knife in each of their shivering right hands, but I don't feel reassured. I need to end this before anyone gets hurt. Sophie and I go to the door. She creaks it open bit by bit with learned precision. We stand sideways, pressed to the wall, to make sure if there is someone on the other side ready to attack, we are ready for them too. But the door swings open, and instead of the sounds of attack, we hear crying.
Please don't kill me. You have to protect me. You don't understand what kind of a monster she's become.
I dare a glance in, and when I see Tanya has the upper hand, I walk in confidently, my fingers slipping into the brass knuckles, just in case. There are 2 people in a big, empty warehouse. I don't see Yera. A young man with curly hair is kneeling in front of Tanya. Her outstretched hand is holding a gun pointed at him. Her face is screwed up in hatred while the look on his tear-streaked features is one of fear and pain. His hands are bandaged haphazardly, each one missing a ring finger. He turns his eyes to me. Then his whole body collapses into a frantic crawl. When he reaches me, he grabs my feet and looks up, his expression the very meaning of helplessness.
You,
he croaks between sobs.
You can protect me. I will tell you everything. Please, please, just don't let her boyfriend get to me.
The news of my arrival finally breaks through Tanya's curtain of anger, and she acknowledges me with a nod as she retrains the gun on the man's head. Don't point that in my direction, I snap. She lowers it, then runs to a dark corner. I notice a heap of blankets there. Yera? My loud voice echoes in the empty space, over the man's cries.
She's going to be fine,
Tanya shouts back. I relax because this doesn't seem like a trap. Yet it smells of desperation and poor planning, so I can only assume Penelope and her goons are on their way. We must grab Yera and leave, but one question remains unanswered. What do we do with the slobbering mess at my feet?
This was part 5 of The Brigand Children, Book 2 of the Club Lavender Duet by Lainey Delaroque. To listen to the next 5 chapters, please navigate to the next video. All parts of this audiobook are available in the playlist The Brigand Children on this YouTube channel. Thanks for listening. Like and comment to help get this book in front of more readers, and subscribe to the channel to avoid missing out. See you in the next part.